Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button, then turn that notification button on right now.
It comes crashing down and it hurts inside. Beep, 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 beep. You gotta take a stance, it don't help to hide. It's when you hurt my friends, then you hurt my pride. I gotta be a man, I can't let it slide. I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man. A quick search will show that WWE currently employs over 550 people. Majority of them are the talent that either work house shows, train at the Performance Center, or appear on WWE programming every week. Pro wrestling in general is a cutthroat business, and the performers have less time to make friends when they are in a constant battle to protect their spot or climb up the food chain. While some make it, many of them don't and are really just lost in the shuffle. WWE Superstars are ambitious, as a little taste of the spotlight leaves them wanting more success. However, very few get the opportunity to make real difference in the company, while the others lag behind, unable to keep up with the rest of the locker room. In the end, whether it be due to differences with the creative team or just to freshen up their characters, a few superstars may end up leaving the company this year. In this video, we take a look at 10 wrestlers that may quit WWE soon. Dana Brooke, much like Eva Marie, is not everyone's cup of tea. Some fans like her, while the others believe she needs to go back to NXT and develop her persona. Dana competed in many fitness competitions, but that alone doesn't grant you a direct pass to the WWE. While being with Charlotte was rumored to lead to Dana's big break into the company, the officials quickly dropped the idea, seeing that Dana was too green, and still is in the ring. Dana is currently a part of Titus Worldwide, but lately has been lobbying for a push on Raw. Something has to give this year. Dana is clearly not ready for a singles push, and unless we're really optimistic, it's difficult to see her going far in the company. What would you like to see WWE do with Dana? Let me know in the comments. Alright, it's okay, you are forgiven for completely forgetting the fact that the Colognes are still employed by the WWE. Primo and Epico have gone through a couple of gimmick changes. The duo have been given multiple chances by the company, as it seems, although one could argue that their gimmicks were destined to flop in the first place. As we can all see, the gimmicks did them no favors. Primo and Epico won the tag team titles on the main roster, but have largely gone unnoticed over the past couple of years. Although their run as Los Matadores was entertaining, they couldn't capitalize on the momentum and were taken off TV to be repackaged yet again. Now, however, they find themselves in the middle of nowhere, and it might do them good to take some time off and maybe go to the independent scene. When Connor and Victor were terrorizing tag teams on NXT, many people expected the duo to do remarkably well on the main roster. Fast forward to where they are now, it's a crying shame the creative team cannot get the best out of them. There's a point after which the superstars can no longer be taken seriously. While the likes of Damien Sandow and Santino Marella thrived as comic relief, which almost revived their careers, the same cannot be said about the Ascension. The duo is currently being used as a side attraction to further the feud between Breezango and the Bludgeon Brothers. Now that Breezango is no longer in the Fray Fray showdown with Rowan and Harper at WrestleMania, it is more than likely that the former NXT Tag Champs will have to sit out this year's mega event. It should be noted that being complacent seems to be the final nail in the coffin for a superstar, and the duo would do themselves a favor by leaving the WWE to possibly build some credibility on the outside. It's been a long time since Rhino was involved in a meaningful storyline, and while he is still working with Slater, the end of the line is in sight for the Man Beast. But it seems obvious that the former US champ will continue to focus on his political career once he takes off the wrestling boots. The superstar has won titles in various top promotions, and he, much like the Big Show, is in the twilight of his wrestling career. There was something for Rhino and Slater to work with a couple of months ago. You know, when Rhino told Slater that they had to do something to change the dynamics of their team. That, however, has amounted to, which could signal not just the end of this tag team, but the end of Rhino's career. With his political aspirations, we could expect Rhino to walk away from the wrestling business entirely this year. The man known simply as Apollo has been finding it difficult to make an impact in WWE.
The company took 3 superstars that weren't doing much individually and put them together. While it has worked with the New Day previously, Titus Worldwide hasn't had the similar success thus far. While Apollo and Titus did challenge for the Raw Tag Team titles at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, it's hard to argue that they are a serious threat to the titles. Apollo is a phenomenal athlete and was doing remarkably well on the independents before signing with WWE. However, in the company, he is a small fish swimming with the sharks, it seems, and would be better off competing on the indies, and possibly returning after a year or so. Hideo was supposed to be the key to unlocking the Japanese market for the promotion. Itami was one of the best wrestlers on the planet when WWE came knocking, and was unveiled as a superstar in front of the Japanese fans, which was done by none other than the Hulkster himself. Needless to say, a lot was expected from Hideo, but unfortunately, things haven't worked out for him. From suffering multiple injuries to inadvertently hurting his fellow superstars, it hasn't been the best of times for Itami. While he was expected to be brought up to the main roster within a year of joining NXT, Hideo now finds himself on 205 Live, which could be a cause for concern. This is not the first instance of a Japanese superstar not being used properly in a major North American promotion. Okada suffered similar fate in Impact Wrestling, but when he returned to Japan, he quickly ascended to the top and is one of the biggest names in the business today. Itami may want to consider following in those footsteps if he intends to revive his career. While some can argue that Itami can work from the ground up in 205 Live within WWE, others will say that he will hit a ceiling on his way up. Not too long ago, Sasha Banks and Charlotte reminded the fans of the often reminisced rivalry between Trish Stratus and Lita. Banks has the looks, the skill, and the charisma to lead the women's division on Raw, but for some inexplicable reason, she hasn't been able to break through the glass ceiling and has slipped down the pecking order over the past 12 months. Banks and Bayley are expected to face one another at Mania, but both the stars are miles behind the likes of Asuka, Nia Jax, and even Alexa Bliss. Sasha is a 4-time women's champion, but her last run lasted all of 8 days, once again raising doubts about the creative's trust in the superstar. Banks isn't someone that would hold her tongue for too long and has previously aired her grievances about not getting enough chances, and last month openly criticized WWE for giving Ronda preferred treatment. We've previously seen performers getting disillusioned with WWE treating superstars differently, and Sasha might soon believe that she can accomplish bigger things on the indies. Paige has got to be the unluckiest superstar today. The one who claims to have kickstarted the women's revolution in WWE even before it was a thing now has to sit on the sidelines and watch other women make history. Paige had to battle through a serious neck injury, and when she finally returned to the company, she suffered a scare during a live event, something that WWE officials don't take lightly. Paige is in the same boat as Bryan, it seems. The former Divas champion might believe that she is physically fine to compete, but she will likely never wrestle again for the promotion. Paige is currently serving as the mouthpiece for Absolution, but would sooner or later want to either wrestle outside the company or permanently retire from pro wrestling. As unfortunate as it is, she would be better off staying away from the WWE. In what is perhaps the worst kept secret, Bryan wants to wrestle again, but as long as he is in WWE, Vince McMahon probably won't allow that. Bryan has teased returning to in-ring competition time and time again, and as difficult as it was for him to stay away from putting on a show, it would be twice as difficult for him to serve as GM of SmackDown, watching other superstars compete, reminding him every minute of the fact that he can no longer wrestle. But Bryan's contract will run out this year, and while Daniel originally wanted to stay away from WWE, the fact that he could still be legally bound to his WWE contract forced Bryan to return to the company. However, with the independent promotions doing exceptionally well, and the fact that ROH and New Japan would welcome Bryan with open arms will certainly weigh on his mind when Daniel makes his decision later this year. For Kane, being the big red monster is now a side job. Kane has been a mainstay in WWE for 2 decades, and while the fans have been treated to some incredible moments, courtesy of Kane going berserk, setting people on fire and electrocuting Shane's family jewels, the former WWE champ has one foot out the door. About 2 years ago, Kane announced that he would consider running for mayor of Knox County, and confirmed it once again last year. Glenn Jacobs, as he is known to people who don't just know him as the maniacal superstar, will be running as a Republican, and with all of those commitments, we might see Kane hanging up his boots after Mania this year, after nearly 3 decades of service to the wrestling industry. And these were 10 superstars that may quit soon. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching Wrestling Hub, and I'll see you later with more wrestling videos.